welcome to another edition of Without Ever Kicked a Ball. Well, I haven't said those words for a long time. It's Will or TubeMix, either will do, and welcome. Now, on last week's show, Jordan said, I wish Will would have a mute button for you. That person in question is Sam Taylor, and he is mute tonight. Well, he's not here. So Jordan's wish has come true. Anyway, joining me to discuss all the big talking points from the Premier League and the EFL is Jordan Erlam.
Hello, mate. How are you? It's
Yeah,
it's
good,
good
thank
to be
you.
back, me and you again. Is it
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
it's
Yeah,
as
just
it
the two
was
of us. Yeah,
when we? It makes me think of when we very first restarted this, and Sam went off for quite a few weeks, so it's
oh
mostly
God,
just
yeah,
me
that
and
was
you,
right.
wasn't
Yeah, he
it?
went to Australia, didn't he? Yeah.
Anyway, we've returned to those days just for this
Yep.
week, and maybe a little bit later on in the week. I don't know. I don't quite know what the schedule is, but yes, as usual, a lot to talk about. I'll just say my little piece here, which is the EFL was in full focus last week. This week, going to be a bit more mixed. Plenty to talk about this weekend's just gone's games.
Yes.
We are in the middle of a midweek Premier League slate too,
Yes.
but it's worth mentioning, as I'm sure you would have done, that we aren't going to really talk about any of the things that have happened in the midweek games
Yeah, because otherwise
today.
it would just get too messy, too bloated. I think.
That being said, again, like I said, I don't know what the plan is for later on in the week, but that's something I suppose me and Will and Sam and Ben have got to talk about,
Yeah,
maybe.
absolutely. Time will tell. And anyway, just before we start, I just want to say a big thank you to you, Jordan, Sam, for steering the ship so magnificently. Last week, well done, sterling job, both of you.
No, it was a pleasure and very exciting to be able to sit and talk football with my friends again for the first time in a very long time.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So, shall we crack on?
Yes, absolutely. So, um, let's start with the first of our three featured games. This is Saturday, the 29th of November, and it was Fulham 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Tete in the 4th minute, assisted by Chukwueze. I've probably not pronounced that name right in true style.
Not bad for you,
Oh, okay,
Chukwueze.
yeah, I'll take that. And Harry Wilson in the 6th minute, assisted by Josh King. And then Mohamed Kudus in the 59th minute, assisted by Bergval. So, Jordan, what was your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, complete shocker. I think Fulham haven't been as good this season as or haven't started as well, shall we say? Let's not say haven't been as good.
Yep,
Haven't started as well as they have done in the last couple of seasons.
yes,
Um, so you never know quite what we were going to get. Um, Game starts, they literally highlighted on Sky Sports about Samuel Chukwueze because it was a massive thing that they decided to go for. It was a big thing the pundits felt that they decided to go for Chukwueze over record signing the Brazilian Kevin. Within about 90 seconds of that, Chukwueze plays a great pass to Kenny Tete. He hits it first time, does take a deflection off of, I think it's Jed Spence, and ends up in the back of the net. You're thinking, oh God, like Fulham were electric. Anything could happen here.
yep,
And then only a couple of seconds later, Vicario comes out of his goal. It's collected by Harry Wilson from Josh King, and he, from maybe about 32, 33 yards, just decides to swing his foot at the ball and into an empty net. And it's an unreal finish, by the way.
yes,
Despite the fact that it is an empty net, to be able to do that and still get the whip and the power and the pace from that distance to do that. I don't know whether you agree, but that's my personal opinion. That is
Well,
still an unbelievable.
only the best can do that. So yeah.
Yeah, my opinion is that is no matter what an unbelievably good finish. Yeah, and then obviously Spurs did get back into it thanks to a goal from Mohamed Kudus. Another good finish. There's been so many of those over this weekend, last few weeks, midweek that we're currently in. Like it's one of those things we talked a lot about last season about the lack of like fantastic goals, and the goals have been making a comeback, I feel, this season
Yes.
personally. So yeah, it's funny because, and this is quite exciting for me because it's the first time I've really spoke about the Premier League.
Yes.
Because obviously I've not been around. Spurs started off so well, and then it's just gone to absolutely like they're just like against Fulham. They were so poor in the part where Fulham go 2-0 up, and then like every time Spurs got the ball, they lost it, or Fulham players had the ball, they're backing off, they're not where they should be. You're thinking, oh my god, this could be an absolute cricket score.
Yeah.
And I wonder, it does make you think now about, well, two things. First of all, how would it have been if they didn't sack Ange?
Yes.
And secondly, as a bit of a wider thing, what is the problem with Tottenham?
I mean, obviously, it's been a very interesting season so far for Tottenham. Thomas Frank coming in to replace Ange. Then the still really shocking news, the departure of Daniel Levy, which just came so sudden. No one was expecting it, really. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting because it's how do you solve a problem like Tottenham? An incredibly a squad with incredible quality,
Yes.
young players that have the potential to go right to the top. I think it's very easy. It's a bit of a cheap shot to say, well, the goalkeeper isn't good enough. But
Yes.
I think in this instance, it is fair to say, like, why does the goalkeeper make that decision?
Yes. Oh, and of course, I forgot to mention, of course, they lost Son Heung-min to Los Angeles FC as well, so a big miss for them as well.
It is interesting because I just think that a squad like this, like Spurs, is a top six squad,
Yes.
and yet they continue to just play like lower mid table.
Yes.
It's really really interesting. I mean, the cycle. I do think it's a motivational issue and a confidence issue,
Which is a
but
problem if it's a motivational issue, then yeah.
but you've still got guys that are world class, like Xavi Simons, for
Yes.
instance, is obviously in that team, and then even below that, you've got very very good like top players for the level.
Yes, exactly.
Admittedly, it's not the team that they used to have, where there were two or three top class, world class players, but they
Yeah.
have, you
Kane,
know.
Ericsson, Son. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the goalkeeper is a big issue, and I think that they've got. You don't look at certain people that they can bring off the bench and go, yeah, he is definitely going to change the
Yeah,
game.
a game changer, exactly. Yeah.
But then there's a couple of teams like that at the moment. For
Yeah,
instance,
exactly. And you know, they were saying on Match of the Day that Thomas Frank is, doesn't really know what his best 11 is. Do you agree with that assessment?
yeah, I think it's it's quite a dense squad with a lot of players that are of kind of a similar level.
Yes.
That being said, he's been the manager since the start of the season. I always feel a bit weird about the whole he doesn't know what his best team is
Well, yeah. I mean, if he doesn't
conversation.
know his best team by now, then he's kind of screwed,
No,
isn't he?
I get it. Look, you can be. That is definitely an excuse. But is it an excuse for a
At,
manager
at this
that's
stage
been.
of the season as well.
If he come in October and he still doesn't know his team, right? Okay, he's been there since August, July.
Yes.
He should know what his best team is. I
I
understand that
agree with you. Yeah.
there'll be injuries and things like that,
Yes.
and that is obviously a concern, and
That.
it's a massive
Yeah.
concern for Tottenham and has been since the Ange days. So
Yes, absolutely.
um,
I mean,
it's
James Maddison probably most notable for me. Who's one that's on the treatment table often. A bit like our own Ben Carney.
yeah, it's quite an interesting one because I sort of wonder. I mean, this is a bit off topic to the actual game, but I wonder what Madison's level will be when he gets into that team again next,
Well, exactly, because
whenever he comes back.
when you have one big injury, then maybe you can say, yeah, oh yeah, there's probably a chance that they'll get back their sharpness and their fitness to what they were before the injury. But when you've had multiple injuries, it's very, very hard. And I suspect actually Rodri when he comes back as well, because I suspect that he might not get back to his best, maybe.
Maybe. Um, I do want to say because I think it's really important. We spent a lot of time on Tottenham.
Yes.
Fulham were unbelievable. They were very, very good. They were without a doubt the best team.
Yeah.
Um, it's I've found it quite weird that they brought in Chukwueze, a player with Champions League pedigree, a very, very good player, and definitely in my eyes, despite the fact that obviously the Premier League, the teams in mid-table are growing in as in like they continue to get better and
Yeah,
better.
yeah, yeah,
It's
exactly.
a definite coup for Fulham to get Samuel Chukwueze, who has played in the Champions League for Villarreal and also in the Champions League for Milan.
Yeah, that's very impressive, isn't it?
He hadn't really done that much so far, but then slowly started to rack up assists before this game.
Yes.
And then he obviously starts. He was fantastic.
Yes.
He was absolutely everywhere. Similarly, somebody I'd like to highlight, Josh King,
Yes.
who is
Formerly of Bournemouth.
not that one.
Oh, sorry, not that Josh King. Oh, right.
No, the young lad in centre attacking midfield for Fulham is 18. He's called Josh King.
Oh, right. Sorry, wrong one.
He is absolutely unbelievable. Been so good this season. Incredibly unlucky not to get quite a few, goal involvements.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, fantastic from Fulham and Marco Silva deserves it, and we know how good he is.
Yeah, and I think he's found a club where because obviously he was at Hull and then he was at Watford and then he was at Everton, and he seems to found a club that really sort of suits him and he feels settled at.
Yeah. Is there still quite a lot of discussion as to whether he'll sign a new deal or not?
Uh, I'm not sure. Not that I've read. I think. I mean, there's rumors, but you never know what's true, and treat it with a pinch of salt. And and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that one. But yeah, a great win for Fulham, and it's amazing what a bit of confidence can do. And sometimes you've got to, I said it to. It was in a different context. We were talking about Man United, but I said it to Ben the other day when we were on about Man United playing against Everton.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah,
Everton won that game, but I was saying it in the context of Man United. Because there are a couple of poor results for the teams around the top that weekend.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I had
exactly.
said that basically when you've got a moment, you take it, and obviously Man United in this instance weren't able to do that, but um, and it's especially pertinent um, for the teams down towards the bottom or the lower mid-table. If you
Yes.
have a chance, if you sniff blood, you have to strike.
Oh,
You have
exactly.
to,
Yeah, yeah, you do. I
yeah,
absolutely
and
agree with you 100% on that one.
And I think again, just to reference midweek a little bit, we
Yeah.
we definitely saw that they are in that result has given them some belief. It really has, and
Yeah, I mean, it's
obviously
just
they.
amazing what a bit of confidence can do. Or, a player who hasn't scored has had a goal drought and then suddenly scores a goal, and then it's just like someone's, flicked a switch, isn't it? It's really interesting, fascinating, the whole psychology of that.
We'll continue to keep our eyes on that one.
Yes,
I do
absolutely.
wonder. I do wonder how much pressure there is on. I do wonder how much pressure there is on Thomas Frank.
Yes, well, yeah, because in fact, yeah, the Spurs fans were, booing and Thomas Frank said, well, just in my opinion, that they're not true Tottenham fans if they're booing their own players, and yeah, it's a difficult one. Now, is there any more that we want to say about this one, or are we ready to move on?
Not particularly. I'm ready to move
Ready
on
to
if you
move
are.
on? Okay. Well, just before we move on to our next game, now, when Jordan and Sam were hosting the show, they wanted to know, well, you, Jordan, wanted to know my views about Rob Edwards. Should he have left Middlesbrough to go to Wolves? And you said, oh, we'll have to ask Will next time. So now that I'm
Oh yes,
back,
that's right. I did. Yeah, go
yeah,
on.
yeah, well, I was just trying to remember. I knew there was something, and then luckily I remembered it. My view is, I think he's kind of betrayed Middlesbrough, really. I think, what was it, something like 15 games he was in charge for?
Yeah, around about that. Yeah.
Yeah, which is a very, very short amount of time, and I think yes, I know he's played for Wolves before, and the pull of the Premier League is strong, but I think he's betrayed Middlesbrough really, and I think I I I don't know if it's the right decision. Maybe it will be, but yeah, I don't know. I think he may have jumped too soon. Maybe.
Well, the current evidence, as I'm sure we'll get to when you read the rest of the Premier League results out, is not great viewing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Well,
Um.
you'll be doing that actually. Yeah,
Oh right. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that
yeah.
then. But
In your
yeah. So
traditional results swagger.
yeah, I'm just trying to remember how we do things. You see, I'm getting
Yeah,
back
yeah,
into the
no,
swing of it. So
you're rusty. You're just about getting back to match fitness.
that's it. That's it. Right. Okay. So yeah, we'll move on to the next game, and we'll start with your thoughts on the game, shall
Okay,
we?
yeah. So Manchester City 3, Leeds 2. This is still on the Saturday. Phil Foden in the first minute. Yes, you heard that right. Assisted by Matthias Nunes. And then Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the 49th minute for Leeds. Assisted by... Oh, hang on. It doesn't seem to say the assist. or was it a penalty actually? Oh, or I think it might have been actually. Um, and then Guardiola in the 25th minute, assisted by Nico Riley for City, and then Cherky in the 91st minute for City, and then Nemecha in the 68th minute. So, a pretty extraordinary game. City got away with it, and you would have thought they would roll, put Leeds to the sword. That wasn't the case. City are very good attacking, but defensively they are absolutely shit. There's no putting that lightly. They are absolutely shit defensively, and I don't think they're going to win the title. They're not quite the City of old in that. I think they're still really missing Rodri in that midfield as well, so they'll be wanting him to get back into the lineup as soon as they can. Of course, though, that they don't want to rush him because then there's more risk for another injury or another setback. And credit to Leeds for for their reaction to coming back, and I don't think City saw that coming, and neither did we. So that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, my thoughts are wow. Leeds showing us that they've got some fight, and good for Calvert-Lewin to get a goal. I think it shows no assist because um, I think it was an instance where the ball flicked off him off a Man City player, or well, if it doesn't register assists on the BBC Sport websites, it's like a deflection, or it's flicked off a Man City player, or
Right,
something
okay,
like that.
yeah.
So yeah, it was good for Leeds to obviously be in a position where they were 2-0 up,
Yes.
and then sorry, I think it was 2-1, wasn't it? 2-1, 2.
Yes, that was it, yes.
Sorry, so it's good for Leeds to come into a position where they were 2-1 down, made it 2-2, and then you sat there, you think, right, okay, City are obviously rattled here. Like, go for it, like really go for it, and it's disappointing because you understand it, and you understand the mentality of the teams that are expected to be down at the bottom, and you're thinking, right, okay, well, they want to sit back because they want to make sure they're protecting the point. It's Man City, it's not, Burnley or whatever, or,
Yeah, exactly.
but in protecting the point, what they actually did was sat so deep and let City have so much of the ball that obviously led to the goal.
Right.
And that's well, you can see how you want to see it, but for me, that's poor game management. It's poor game management because I understand, being cautious. I get that, but to sit back and let Man City sort of have a load of the ball is not the way that you should be playing, because you're trying to make sure you're going to win the game.
Well, yes, that is true, but then you don't want to be so, if you're going for it, but you're so open, then, yeah, I don't know, it's a hard one.
Yeah, it's difficult. I think there is a way to find a happy medium, but at the same time to be defensive towards Leeds' approach and Daniel Farker.
Yes.
I think that it's hard to say what we would do if we were in that situation as the City, um, as the Leeds manager against Man City, because you are right, they're not as great defensively as they have been, but in terms of a attacking force, they are as irresistible as ever.
Yes.
And that is, underpinned by one thing for me in recent weeks, which is the return to form of Phil Foden,
Yes.
which obviously we're both English. We both, have watched Phil Foden for basically his whole career. We know he is world class, and we know that, last season and the struggles that City faced and some of the things that went on, his own personal poor run of form was hard to see.
Yes.
But
Do you think City will win the Premier League or not this season?
I think it's one of them again where at the moment it looks like whoever wins it is the best of the poor bunch.
Okay.
Because you've got Arsenal who are keeping pace really well, City who aren't as good as they have been, but are still, keeping Arsenal honest. And then you've sort of got you've got then Chelsea who are much improved, I feel, as a team as a whole, but are currently 3-1 down to Leeds as we speak during this midweek. So
Yeah.
Inconsistent at best. And then you've got the likes of Palace, Brighton, maybe even add like Man United in there. They just aren't consistent enough.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think if Arsenal do what Arsenal tend to do and bottle it, then there's only really City that can match
Well, yeah,
that can match Arsenal currently.
Time will tell. I think they will win the Premier League because I think they've got a very good squad of depth, probably the best that they've ever had. So I think this will genuinely be their year.
Arsenal is that?
Yes.
You think this is Arsenal's year? Okay, interesting.
Yes, I said that at the. Oh no, I think I might have said Liverpool at the beginning of the season, but yeah, now I think it's going to be Arsenal's year. So just one more thing. Do you think Daniel Farke's job is in danger? Because I saw a rumour that Leeds are considering Gary O'Neill if they sack Daniel Farke.
I think that good performances like that one and the current one that's ongoing as we're speaking is going to save him a lot, because they gave a really good account of themselves here.
Right, okay, yeah.
And the reason that I'm saying that I was disappointed by Daniel Farke's game management is I felt that at 2-2, the game is absolutely there for Leeds to go and try and win the game.
Yeah.
So I still think it's quite early to tell, because it's not like Leeds or even Burnley or any of the clubs apart from Wolves. It's not like there's anybody really cut adrift.
Yeah, I mean, and Sunderland, who we all thought would go down, are doing, well, brilliantly. Amazingly, yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? I mean, at obviously the start of the season, before they bring in the players they bring in,
yes,
you're thinking, oh God, they're going to go down without a whimper. Even then, they bring in some good players. You're thinking, okay, they might,
go down,
they're still going to go down.
At least they'll go down with a fight, yeah.
Granit Xhaka comes in. You're thinking, right, this is going to be an interesting team now. But you're still thinking, oh, they'll probably go down. And then, obviously, a few games in, they're in a great position. Continues on, and it's wow, it's crazy what they've achieved.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just gonna say that I feel like it has these last couple of weeks in the Premier League has opened it up for somebody like Leeds to try and survive, because if you can, like, again, I don't feel like you necessarily need that much to be the fourth worst team in the Premier League, or should I say the 17th best, as in to just finish just below,
I get
just
what you
above
mean.
the relegation zone.
Yes.
So it's important, as it always is, that when they're playing teams around them, Leeds, i.e., Wolves, Forest, not Forest, Forest, Burnley, West Ham, they have to pick points up.
Yes.
Because to be honest, that might literally be the only difference is 1 or 2 points. This is very cliche stuff. Very, you've heard this kind of shit before, but it's still worth mentioning in my opinion that
Oh,
that
absolutely. Yeah.
it's very fine margins. So
Yes, it
you know,
is. It's going to be very interesting. Right, you ready to move on?
yeah, and I'm happy to give my. I'll start with my thoughts
Oh,
this time.
absolutely. Yep, your beloved Chelsea, and we move
Yeah.
on to our final featured game, and it's on the Sunday London derby. Chelsea won, Arsenal won. Casido getting a red card in the 38th minute. Trevor Chalobah in the 48th minute to make it 1-0 to Chelsea. Then Mikel Merino in the 59th minute for Arsenal. Saka assisting Merino and Reece James assisting Chalobah. So, what was your thoughts on this one?
Well, first of all, definite red card for Caicedo. Didn't like the fact that he was sort of trying to say he was injured to try and escape a red card.
Right.
He was definitely going to get it. It's a nasty tackle.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because I feel like at that moment it was probably Chelsea's game to lose, really.
Yeah.
And then you lose your best midfielder and you're up a creek without a paddle, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's yeah, and then obviously to do that and then go 1-0 up through Trevor Chalobah, thinking, oh my god, we might just do this. And then Marino scores, and then even then, I still felt like Chelsea had more threat when they went forward on the attack, and um, so it's kind of it's tinged with sadness, really, because I feel like that is a game that we should have won. We didn't. We've been let down, I feel,
Right.
by Caicedo. But listen, he is he's up there with top sort of three best midfielders in the league currently.
Yes.
Um, and he's always had that in his game to be a bit tough tackling. Now, usually he sort of gets away with it. But it, it was a massive moment, and I think it's you feel for Arsenal as well because they came off that pitch thinking, and you could see it, they were all gutted. They all knew that was the moment, I think, to sort of go, yeah, we are the title favourites. It's our year.
Yeah.
And I think to draw against 10 men when they were 1-0 down against 10 men is not that big of an achievement. Like it's like it will be tinged with fuck. We should have won that.
Yes.
Um. So yeah. One bit of social media interaction I did see was a video of Chelsea fans booing Noni Madueke when Cole Palmer was warming up, and Cole Palmer's sort of giving it like, "Yeah, go on, boo him."
Oh,
And then
right.
I just thought that was good shithousery.
It's
So
great to see you
and
don't.
we love a bit of
So,
that. So
surprised you don't have it tattooed down yourself.
yeah, I think for me, it's we've drawn a game that we should have won, or we had the chances to win.
Yeah.
Are most Chelsea fans going to feel like that? Probably not. They're going to say, right, well, we were 10 men down. We were down to 10 men, sorry, and we've got a point against the team that were the league leaders.
Yes.
Personally, I'm disappointed with the result.
Okay.
I'd be interested to know your thoughts, though, of course.
Well, I mean, obviously, You're thinking when Casido gets sent off, you're thinking, well, do you know what? Arsenal are going to absolutely, thrash Chelsea, putting them to the sword again, another cliche phrase, if you like. But no, it clearly was a very tight game, a bit of a feisty game. And yeah, that's how it was.
Yeah, there was plenty of spiciness. That's for sure.
Absolutely, which is what you want in a derby, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean Arsenal and Chelsea have played out some ridiculously high quality games over the years. Was this one of them? No, but did it have that bite and fire? Yes.
Yes.
Um.
Which
So
you'll probably take that, won't you? Even if it's not a high quality game.
yeah, I mean, I think what I would have liked is obviously 3 points, but
Yes.
again, you have to look at it in the lens of, because I think I'm sort of looking at it as what was in front of us, despite the fact they are league leaders, was not a team that we couldn't beat. Like we
Yeah,
were definitely
absolutely.
better than them, and that's the way I see it. And you can only beat what's in front of you, of course. So
Of course, yeah.
yeah, right. So shall I take us through the rest of the Premier
Yes,
League
absolutely. And
results?
here with his results swagger is Jordan Erlen.
Okay, so in the Premier League on Saturday, I will avoid the games that we've already talked
Yes,
about. By the
yes,
way,
that's a good idea. Yeah.
Brentford beat Burnley 3-1 in a game that came alive in the last 10 minutes. All the goals scored within the last 10 minutes plus injury time. 2 goals from Igor Thiago. What a masterstroke it was from me to put him into my fantasy team.
Yeah.
And a goal from Dango Utara, who's in your fantasy team.
Mm.
Give Brentford the win with Zian Fleming's penalty, the consolation for Burnley. Interesting team, Brentford,
Yes.
for sure. Sunderland completed a fantastic comeback against Bournemouth from 2 goals down, thanks to goals from Amin Adil or Adley. Not sure how you actually pronounce that, which isn't like me. A Tyler Adams wonder goal, is that correct?
Well,
I
yeah,
I
yeah,
heard it say.
I guess so. Depends what you describe a wonder goal.
I heard it's a halfway line finish.
Right. Well, yeah, that sounds like a
Um,
wonder goal to me.
so Tyler Adams from the halfway line before Enzo Lefebvre scored a 30th minute penalty. Bertrand Traore made it 2-2, and Brian Brobby made it 3-2 on the 69th minute. Fantastic
Great
win for
game that was
Sunderland.
then. Yeah.
As we said, a truly great team,
Yes.
especially the newly promoted team. A game that I sat and watched. Well, 2 games I sat and watched back to back, but obviously we've already talked about the Spurs game. Was Everton at home to Newcastle, and they were completely torn apart. 2 goals from Malik Diaw,
Yeah.
who
Truly put to the sword. This one.
Ben had Malik Diaw in his fantasy team. I don't know how he came up with that one.
Oh well, I bet. Yeah,
Um,
he would have been squealing with delight, popping the
and
champagne.
also and also goals from Lewis Miley and Nick Voltemade, who was also in Ben's team.
Yeah.
With the consolation coming from Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, it's starting to click for Newcastle.
Yes.
A little bit, I feel.
After a
Moving on
very
in,
rocky summer in so many aspects.
moving on into the Sunday games, and Crystal Palace took a 1-0 lead at home to Man United, thanks to John Philippe Mateta's second penalty after the first one was ruled out because of a double touch, which is not something you see very often.
Yeah.
And then Manchester United equalised thanks to Joshua Zirkzee with a rare goal, a fantastic finish. Although I don't quite know how the goalkeeper gets beat from there. And secondly, from a set piece, Mason Mount with an unbelievable goal, screamer to give Man
Former
United
Chelsea player, of course.
a 2-1 win, which wasn't great because I had both Gurhi and Mateta in my fantasy team. Moving on, Aston Villa beat Wolves in the derby thanks to a screamer from Boubacar Kamara. And Nottingham Forest were beaten soundly by Brighton 2-0 thanks to goals from Maxime de Kuiper and Stefanos Sivas. And then also, this has got an interesting one, and we'll talk about this in a moment.
Okay.
Liverpool went to West Ham and won 2-0. Alexander Isak with his first goal for the club.
Yeah.
And Cody Gakpo, also in your fantasy team.
Oh, yeah.
With goals for the Reds. Lucas Paquetá with 2 yellow cards in 4 seconds for dissent. Sent off.
It seems he's going to be missing a lot of games, yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously the Arsenal game, which we did talk about.
Yes.
So, just a quick word on the Premier League.
Yes.
Really? I spent quite a lot of time. Well, I watched Man United and Palace. But I wanted to first say that I spent quite a lot of time on Sunday afternoon watching Sky Sports Plus Multiview, which had a screen for Villa and Wolves, a screen for Forest and Brighton,
Yes.
and a screen for West Ham and Liverpool. The Forest and Brighton game was an unbelievable game of football, end to end, to the unbelievable, crazy game, fantastic, fair. And obviously Brighton took their chances, and they're a very, very good team this year. They really are. Again, they're leveling up very, very slowly, which I enjoy. I think it's worth talking about Crystal Palace and Man United. Man United completely dominated by Palace in the first half. Chances not taken by Palace. It would have been very easy for Mateta to miss the penalty, having had to retake it due to the double touch, as I said, but he didn't. He kept his calm. And then come out second half, United score through Xerxes. It's an angled finish. It's a good finish. And you can tell that Palace's heads just completely drop. And that's really disappointing for Palace. And Man United just took the game over completely, and then they've obviously to make it 2-1. The loss of confidence for me would be quite alarming if I was Oliver Glasner, because they were completely all over Man United until the Xerxes goal went in.
Yeah, and especially
There's only 9 minutes
so
between.
good this season.
There's only 9 minutes between the Xerxes equaliser and then the Mount goal. And another thing that I thought was quite interesting is obviously I just felt like Crystal Palace, despite the quality they have got, you're looking at their bench, you're thinking, who are you going to bring on to change the game here? It's quite a strange,
options, is there?
quite a strange situation for a top team to be in. And the final thing that I kind of want to talk about is obviously, like we said, Lucas Paquetá sent off for dissent, 2 yellow cards in 4 seconds. Oh dear, Lucas, what are you doing?
Yeah,
it's just a complete idiocy.
Yeah, he just lofted it, didn't he?
It's really, really ridiculous, really, because it's his moment.
Although, did you see his post? He said, "This is a reflection of what I had to endure." Referring to his, betting ban thing. Yeah.
So, what's he trying to say? That the ref made a comment towards his betting habits?
No. I think he was trying to say that this is what.
Oh, as in the abuse he was getting.
No. He said it because of the. It was just all that frustration that's been building up and building up and building up clearly, and it was just tipped over the edge, and it finally just came out. That's what he meant, I
I'm
think.
sorry to say, I think that's a poor excuse.
Well,
Because
yes,
I
yes.
think that you're a professional footballer and you've dealt with the fact that you made a mistake, and there's absolutely no reason for you to react that way when you're trying to chase the game against the current league leaders. It's stupid, and
Well, yes,
he's
yes, I agree. But yeah, well, I think that's why he put that. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm only guessing.
he's cost his team. Well, I would read that um as that was how maybe the sort of social media reaction he got made him feel like that time. Maybe I don't quite rightly know, but
Do you think it's Paqueta's days at West Ham? Are they numbered with him doing this? Do you think?
nah, he's too good. He's too good, isn't he?
Although Nicholas Jackson for Chelsea kept getting red cards, Ganduzi, you know.
But he also was not like Nicholas Jackson was not as. It's quite hard to say that actually, but in the grand scheme of things, Paquetá is a bigger player for West Ham than Jackson was for Chelsea.
Okay, fair enough.
Shall we move on to the EFL?
Yes, absolutely, mate. Yep, over to you.
So we're going to jump straight into it because we actually started this way later than we should have done, which is my fault. So we'll very quickly move on, but we'll start on Thursday night with a League Two game, which saw Grimsby host Tranmere Rovers. And Grimsby have been quite inconsistent just recently, and that was backed up by the fact that not only did they go 1-0 down to Tranmere, thanks to outside the box goal from Charlie Whitaker, they did equalise thanks to their lad Burns before Christian Dennis was the man that got the goal in the 96th minute for Tranmere. Worth mentioning, by the way, I don't know if you know this, probably not, but the Tranmere goalkeeper, Joe Murphy, is 44 years old.
44, wow. Although with a
So,
goalkeeper, you can actually, you can play on for quite a long time, can't you?
yeah, but 44 is a bit ridiculous, isn't it?
Well, yeah, yeah.
I don't even think Buffon was 44. I think Buffon finished when he was 40. Buffon 42.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Anyway, moving on, and we're straight to the Kassam where Oxford hosted Ipswich and beat them. Absolute calamity playing out from the back for Ipswich. Saw Mark Harris get his first goal of the season before Leif Davis equalised for Ipswich, and the winner coming from the Oxford substitute Shemi Placheta. I watched this game. It was great. Really enjoyed it. To be honest, championship championship is one of those things where um, the games are always entertaining, no matter who you're watching. And
You never quite know what you're going to get, do you, with it?
yeah, it was a really good game. Little fun fact for you: so Shemi Placheta, the substitute,
Oh yeah.
replaced. He came on for Stan Mills, who is the son of Danny Mills.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go. Moving on again to the championship and to we're going to start with it does start with the half 12 games. That's good. Thank God for that. We'll start with the one that I watched, which was Stoke, who are flying high under Mark Robbins, and then versus Sergio Jurkiewicz unpredictable Hull side. And it was actually Stoke that took the lead, thanks to an unbelievable volleyed goal from a corner from Sorba Thomas. Second half came completely dominant Stoke, by the way, like absolutely dominant. And then the second half comes, and it's Hull's turn to dominate. Shemi Ajayi equalises before Joe Gelhardt grabs the winner in the 90th minute to give Sergei Kirovic's Tigers the victory.
Yeah.
A real tale of two halves.
Yes.
I know that's a cliche, but it really was.
It's a cliche
Like,
goal tonight.
I think that you could have, if you would have watched the first half and thought that Hull were going to win, you would have been, people would have said you were mad. But if you'd watched the second half without watching the first half, you'd have wondered why the hell Hull were 1-0 down. One of those games. Moving on. Sheffield United continued their fantastic rise at the King Power. They were 2-0 up in 4 minutes.
Wow.
Tom Cannon in the second minute, and then Callum O'Hare in the fourth. It was originally given as Jairo Vidal's goal. You might remember him, he played for Crystal Palace, but it has been given to Callum O'Hare. And then, similarly to the goal I just described with Sorba Thomas, from a corner, out to the edge of the box, Sidey Peck with the goal to make it 3-0 to Sheffield United on 32 minutes. And at half-time, Leicester did rally a little bit, though. Steffi Mavadidi and Jordan James with goals for the Foxes. Pressure on Cifuentes, in my opinion. Also, quite a lot of pressure as we move on, I would say, on John Mourinho, the Portsmouth manager. He's done a really good job so far, but they lost again. They lost at home this time to Gerhard Struber's Bristol City. Anis Mehmeti with the only goal there. League leaders Coventry City had to do it again, come from 1-0 down against Charlton, thanks to a Harvey Nibbs goal, to win 3-1. Goals from Josh Eccles and 2 from Ellis Sims meant that the Sky Blues continue on. And also having to come from 1-0 down in his first official game in charge, Kim Hellberg's Middlesbrough had to come from 1-0 down against Derby. Patrick Aguiman put the Rams in charge before Matt Target, who I don't think has scored a goal in quite a few years now, and Morgan Whittaker, who played in a cross that went all the way in, give Hellberg a win on his first game. Alex Neil's Millwall broke Tonda Eckert's perfect record by beating the Saints at the Den. It was actually Southampton that took the lead thanks to Adam Armstrong's penalty before Femi Aziz equalised for Millwall. Then centre-back Caleb Taylor, who did have a goal disallowed earlier on in the game, he stepped up from about 30 yards, Vincent Kompany against Leicester for Man City-esque, and whacked a screamer into the net. That made it 2-1 at that time. Then Finn Azaz got what he thought would have been the late equaliser on the 87th minute. Then up popped centre half Tristan Kramer, angled finished, 97th minute winner. Absolutely unbelievable. What I love about this is when Caleb Taylor, the centre half, scored the goal that he did, the celebrations were that wild that even the Millwall manager, Alex Neil, very out of character from what we know of him, ran and jumped on top of the huddle of his players to celebrate with his centre half. I love that.
Wow, I mean, you often see players doing that, but you don't often see the manager doing that.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing that we love to see, or me personally, at least. Anyway, Sheffield Wednesday obviously going through a bad time at the moment.
Yes, it's
they faced a Preston side at Hillsborough and went 1-0 up thanks to Charlie McNeil. He actually scored twice in 13 minutes.
Wow.
By that time, though, Preston had already equalised to make it 1-1. Then McNeil scored again to make it 2-1.
Yeah.
Then goals from Lewis Dobbin on loan from Aston Villa and Mads Frokjer Jensen made it 3-2 to Preston.
Yes.
Not great. Swansea, first game under Vitor Matos, came at the Hawthorns, where under fire West Brom manager Ryan Mason was booed off at half-time with his team, with Swansea 2-0 up, thanks to goals from Zam Vipotnik and Ethan Galbraith.
Yep.
Changes made at half-time, and the changes made the difference. 2 goals from Arnaud Hegebo and a 85th minute winner from Jason Malumbi turned it round completely for West Brom and eased the pressure on Ryan Mason. Blackburn Rovers were 1-0 up at the Stock Cow Wrexham Stadium from the 13th minute right to the 95th. The goal coming from Arnold Gudjonsson. We talked about him last week, and I get the feeling we're going to do a lot of talking about him because there's another fixture I need to mention in a little bit where he played a part as well. He got what was at that point his second goal in 2 games before Max Cleworth got a 95th minute equaliser for Wrexham. Moving on into League One, and it was a great result for Liam Richardson's Reading at Blackpool. Kamari Doyle, Lewis Swing and Randell Williams with goals for Reading. Stockport and Barnsley drew 1-1. Vitesh Yonganathan got the opener for Barnsley before Callum Connolly scored in the 89th minute. Bradford beat Exeter 1-0. Thanks to a goal from Joe Wright. Leyton Orient beat Burton Albion at Albion 4-0. Goals from Aaron Connolly, Don Ballard, Abdullahi, and son of the manager Richie Wellens, Charlie Wellens, to give Leyton Orient a massive victory. Yeah, there's quite a few managers and sons of former players and things like that going on.
Yeah, could be in the family.
Cardiff City absolutely battered Mansfield Town 3-0. Goals from Will Fish, Youssef Salek, and Kian Ashford. A very important win for Grant McCann's Doncaster Rovers side over his former team, Peterborough 2-1. 2 goals for Jordan Gibson and a goal for Peterborough from Harry Leonard. Huddersfield and Wimbledon played out a 3-3 draw. Wimbledon were 2-0 up in this game, thanks to goals from Marcus Brown and Danilo the Horsey Orsi. Before Leo Castle. Danilo the Horsey Orsi. When he scores, he does like a horse galloping.
Oh right, okay. Because I was thinking, did I really hear that? Am I going crazy? But okay.
I'm going to drop something else for you in a minute.
Oh, okay.
The first goal scorer for Huddersfield was Leo Castledine. His mum is on Homes Under the Hammer, Lucy Alexander.
Oh, right. Well,
his sister,
she's left now.
His sister, Kitty Castledine, plays Penny Brannan in EastEnders.
Blimey.
And his dad is famous for something as well, but I'm not quite sure what.
Oh, right.
I did so well then, into Liam.
Oh,
so yeah, that's an interesting nugget. He's on loan from Chelsea, Castledine. He's a great little player.
Right.
Goal scorers also for Huddersfield, Ben Wiles and Alfie May. And the third goal for Wimbledon came from Ryan Johnson. Sorry, I didn't mention that. Lincoln City beat Port Vale.
Yeah. We
1-0.
The usual Sam Taylor booing and Vale scum and all that bollocks.
Thanks to a goal from Rico Hackett. Luton and Bolton drew 1-1. Kyle Dempsey got the opener for Bolton before Javier Simmons was sent off for 2 yellow cards. And Luton took full advantage. Gideon Kodua got the equaliser for Jack Wilshere's side.
Wait, is there
Plymouth
Javier Simmons?
Not that one, Javier Simmons, I said.
Javier. Oh, right, okay. I didn't know whether there was another player called Javier Simmons. Right, sorry, okay.
Northampton went away to Plymouth and battered them 3-0. Tom Eaves, Elliot List, and Jordan Willis with the goals, with Laurent Talai sent off for Plymouth due to an off-the-ball incident. not looking great for Tom Cleverley currently. I get the feeling that the next time we speak, there might be there might have been a sacking.
Oh, right.
And it just leads me to wonder what's kind of gone on there. I mean, I think that personally, um, the club was in a really bad state um, from the moment that even Ian Foster took over, the England under-20s manager, and then obviously Wayne Rooney comes in and it sort of goes from bad to worse. Although it was pretty shocking under Foster, and I think a lot of people tend to kind of forget that.
Yeah. Well, Rooney has never succeeded as a manager, has he?
I mean, it's funny. I'd tell a bit of a off topic, but I was watching Stick to Football, and it was the one after. I think they interviewed Dennis Irwin, and the one after that, there was the first time they'd had Wayne Rooney on since he was sacked by Plymouth.
Yeah.
And the first thing Gary Neville asked him is, would you like to go back in again? And he was like, and he thought about it for a few seconds, and he said, yeah. He said, I'd like to go back in. And Gary Neville says, "Are you all right?" I just thought it was really funny, just like basically saying, "Are you mad?"
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
But he did say, Wayne Rooney, he said, I've gone into, he said, having ego and thinking of yourself as the player that you were. You think you could go into any situation and fix anything, and fix any scenario. And obviously he can't do that. He did say he would only he'd go back if it was the right thing. He said, but he does want to go back in.
He should have
Just
said to Gary Neville, "I've managed more clubs than you."
Yeah, and I didn't get beat 8-0 by Barcelona or whatever it was. Anyway, we'll continue to move on, and we'll move on to Rotherham, who were 1-0 down at at home to Wickham, thanks to a Jamie Mullins goal, before Kean Spence levelled it up for Rotherham for 1-1. And the final game of League One is Wigan 0, Stevenage 0. Into League Two, Accrington beat Oldham Athletic 1-0 thanks to an own goal from Jamie Robson.
Wait, both teams had an own goal?
No, Accrington beat Oldham 1-0 thanks to an own goal from Jamie Robson.
Right, okay, sorry.
The reason that I sort of paused there is I was just checking something for you, and the thing that I was checking was, well, it's not something I need to check, to be honest, because I already know. There's something a little bit interesting about Oldham. We were talking about Leighton Orient and their manager Richie Wellens. It is a fucking shithole. So we're talking about fucking hell, I'm getting distracted now. Talking about Leighton Orient, and their manager Richie Wellens, and his son Charlie Wellens plays for them. Well, the same thing happens at Oldham because their boss, Mickey Mellon, also has his son Michael Mellon plays up front for them.
Michael Mellon, wow.
There you go. MK Dons beat Fleetwood 2-1. Goals from Nathaniel Mendez-Lang and Aaron Nemain, with a Ched Evans consolation for Fleetwood. Barnet and Harrogate played out a 1-1 draw. First goal in English football for quite a few years for Britt Assombalonga. Do you remember him?
Oh, the name rings a bell.
Yeah, Forest, Watford, Peterborough, Southend, I think, as well. He's been around,
Okay.
Had a good career. Jack Muldoon with the equaliser for Harrogate. Don't know whether I said that, so I'll say it again.
Don't think so.
Bristol Rovers lost again to equal what is the club's worst run in their history. They lost to Notts County. Tyrese Hall was sent off for them in the first half for a straight red before Matthew Dennis in the 86th minute got the winner. The county. I will skip over this one very quickly because I don't want to talk about it. Crewe Alexandra travelled to Cambridge United and were 1-0 up in the 54th minute thanks to that man again, Emre Tezgel. He is on fire. However, Cambridge equalised thanks to Mamadou Job, and in the 97th minute, former Crewe Alex loanee ITV Sports said he was a Crewe Alex Academy graduate. That's not true. We had him on loan from Man City. He was shit, and he scored the winner for Cambridge United here. So,
and I mean, you'll have to lie in a darkened room after this.
less said than well. It was pretty gutting because they're the ones you want to win, innit? With the teams around you, you want to win them ones. You don't want to fucking lose them.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
Chesterfield hosted Swindon Town. Quite an interesting quirk in that the first goal scorer was Finlay Monroe for Swindon. He was also sent off in the 91st minute, 2 yellow cards. 2 minutes after Monroe's opener, a name that you will recognise, John Fleck, with his first goal for Chesterfield, formerly of.
I've heard you and Sam mention him before on the show.
Formerly of Coventry. I think he did play for Chesterfield as well. Definitely played in that Sheffield United team that reached the Premier League, and that's why you should be aware of his name.
Well, maybe, yeah.
The match winner was Joe Snowden for Swindon Town. Colchester beat Cheltenham 2-0. Goals from Kyrese Lisby and Micah Umbik make Danny Cowley's side one to watch in League Two.
Danny Cowley, formerly of Lincoln City and Huddersfield.
Correct.
Is he still with his brother Chris? Are they still?
Nicky Cowley. It's Danny and Nicky Cowley.
Nicky, oh, I don't know. I thought it was Danny and Chris Cowley. Okay, since I'm great.
Newport County picked up their first point under new boss Christian Fuchs, which is still a very weird thing to be saying. Yeah. They're actually 1-0 up thanks to Anthony Driscoll Glennon before Ben Whitfield equalised for Barrow. Then Courtney Baker Richardson, formerly of Crewe, he was shit, scored to make it 2-1 before Sam Smith scored the equaliser. Sorry, Scott Smith scored the equaliser for Barrow. Salford and Crawley played out the game of the day in League 2. It was 4-3 goals from Salford from Aluro, Butcher, Osterfield, who was also played on loan at the Alex before and was shit, and Callum Cisse. The goals for Crawley coming from Jay Williams with 2 and Harry Forster with another. Shrewsbury and Gillingham played each other in the Gareth Ainsworth derby, which actually saw Gareth Ainsworth return to the dugout for the first time since heart surgery. So welcome back, Gareth.
Good luck to him, amazing.
Shrewsbury were 2-0 up thanks to goals from George Lloyd and Luca Hoole before Sam Stubbs' own goal made it 2-1. Then George Lloyd scored again, 3-1. Then Robbie McKenzie scored from the penalty spot to make it 3-2 before Elliot Nevitt, formerly of Crewe, who was not shit, but left for the money, so he is shit. To make it 3-3, and finally our last game of the Saturday games in League 2 saw 2 automatic promotion chasers, Walsall and Bromley, face off. Bromley getting in the opener thanks to Crowhouse before goals from Daniel Carnu, Ryan Finnegan and Courtney Clark. Moving on into... I'll just check whether there was a Sunday game because I can't remember. There definitely was a Monday game, but we'll just check. No, there wasn't a Sunday game. There wasn't a Sunday game, but there was a Monday game at St Andrews as Birmingham faced Watford. This was a great game, by the way. Really enjoyed it. Sat and watched the whole thing.
Two Premier League former clubs, of course.
Watford backed off in the 31st minute and left Pike Sung-ho with enough space to arrow a finish from outside the box. An absolute rocket for 1-0. Then another screamer from Damari Gray, who's a name I haven't said in a while.
Oh my God, he's still playing, is he? Wow.
A beautiful curling finish for Damari Gray to make it 2-0. Watford came out in the second half much better. They did get a consolation thanks to Altmain Marmer, which was much deserved because it was a very good game, very enjoyable. And my last thing to say is that this game was interesting because it reminded me that Tom Ince plays for Watford on the continuing the form of players with famous dads. We talked about Stan Mills, we talked about Charlie Wellens, and Leo Castledine as well, with his dad who's famous for I don't know what he's famous for.
So Lucy Alexander's real name is Castledine, is it then?
Her married name must be Castledine.
Right, yeah. Ah, okay,
yeah. But yes, so plenty to talk about there, and obviously Tom Ince, who was a fantastic player for quite a few years in the early 2010s, which I can't believe I'm saying that because it still feels like it should be the 2010s.
My God, yeah. It's all the
although obviously we were both in secondary school in the 2010s. In fact, in the early 2010s, I was in secondary school. You were still in primary school. So,
yeah.
So yeah, I wish to go back to those times. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. So he was obviously a very good player for Blackpool. Earned himself various moves that didn't really work out, and has ended up at Watford. So yeah. And the last thing that I was going to say, I did mention that we talk about Good Johnson, and technically, this moves into the next game week. Kind of. But you may remember a few months ago, there was an abandoned game between Blackburn and Ipswich. And Blackburn were winning the game, and it was abandoned because of the... was it to do... No, I think it was to do with
another game.
It was the waterlogged pitch. There was 10 minutes to go in the game, but the referee decided that the FA had decided, or whoever the league had decided, that the match had to be replayed in full.
Right. Yeah.
It did get replayed in full, and it finished a 1-1 draw. Arne Gudjohnsen again with his third in 3 games gave Blackburn the lead before, right at the end of the game, Sindre Waller-Egerly gave Ipswich a point. And I might as well mention as well, because we're here, there was also a game in League One yesterday. Wigan beating Burton 1-0 thanks to a goal from Paul Mullen.
Yep.
All that leaves us to do now, Will, is for you to take us home, mate.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Jordan. So we may not have had Santa the slagging off Port Vale in Crawley tonight, but
to be honest, I'm fucking glad of it.
We've had you to make up for it, slagging off players that failed at Crewe. And so that fills the Sam Taylor hole very nicely. All right. Thank you very much to Jordan Allen. Thank you, mate.
My pleasure.
It's been a great one. Lots of great talking points, and yeah, really enjoyed it. If you want to, feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the TubeMix YouTube channel. We will see you in the next one. Probably Sam Taylor will be back, and yes, we await for his return. And
it depends when we do it.
Well, yes, that is true. And as it's sort of well, the first one of December. It's been all without having kicked a snowball. Goodbye.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Goodbye.